Hi, I'm Vickie Oldham, and I am the founder of Newtown Alive and also the CEO of the Sarasota African American Cultural Coalition. So, as a Newtown Alive founder, we began by documenting the history of the African American community here in Sarasota, the 100-year history. It's significant because our history was available in fragments. Nothing was comprehensively put together until my team came and did it. And so we did a research report, we did oral history interviews, historic markers, and then we created the digital imprint. Now it is time to move to the next step. And that next step under the SAC headline is to find a suitable spot for an African American arts, history, and cultural center. And so that's where we are now. We're working with the city of Sarasota to do that. I'd like the project to be moving way faster than it is, but COVID presents some limitations. And furthermore, when you're working with municipal government, there are ways that they do things. So I've worked in news where things move really, really fast, really rapidly. I've worked in higher education marketing, medium, but then working with government, that's a different animal altogether. What is my favorite cultural heritage experience? So I thought of two places. Initially, it was my trip to Hong Kong and Bangkok. But then I got to thinking that trip to the Cannes Film Festival for 10 days of film and socializing and all, that was a really great trip too. So the difference between the two, I had lots of money to travel and spend in Hong Kong. I was a student, a graduate student, traveling to France to the festival and had very little to spend. But you know what? I have to tell you, that trip that I had little money to spend, it was my favorite because, you had to be creative with where you went, how you spent the money and all. And as students, the Cannes Film Festival organization opened up all of their films to us. You just had to be in line early in the morning to be able to get the films that you wanted. It was a great cultural immersion experience in Cannes. My destination is unique because, first of all, nobody has really done the work to document the history of this African American community. And so we didn't know, well, I should take that back and say, I knew that the history was rich, and needed to be told, the stories, but our guests coming into town and even the residents here in Sarasota did not know that we had this rich history. Heck, were it not for the work of civil rights activists in opening up our world-class beaches, Black and brown people would not be able to enjoy the sun and surf as they do. That is a story that needs to be told, and it wasn't told during the civil rights movement because the other stories of sit-ins and lunch counter protests received all of the ink. But now it's time to tell these stories, and we're on the US Civil Rights Trail as a result of the activist work. Cultural heritage tourism can absolutely change and improve a community. Here's how. When we started doing this work, I noticed a pride in community residents that increased as we were sharing untold and underreported stories. I am also hiring, or let's say augmenting, the money that our guides receive. For instance, they work perhaps on a particular job, but I can augment that. I can increase their salary, so their quality of life is much better. And when we open this African American Cultural Heritage Center, it's going to cause other little businesses to spring up all around that. It's going to bring people into a community that was considered mysterious and sometimes even dangerous. These are misconceptions and myths, but we're going to change that. What inspired me to start this cultural heritage tourism business? I tell you, I really didn't know that I was starting a cultural heritage tourism business. I was in transition. I was between jobs, and the city of Sarasota was looking for a consultant to document 100 years of history of the African American community. I figure it'll take me a year. That'll give me time to figure things out, what my next move would be. And so I jumped into this project. I felt that, you know what, I'm going to leverage it. I'm going to pour myself into it, and I'm going to show the city of Sarasota what they have here, the rich history that they have. And so I did that. The city gave me uh, phase 2 without putting the project out to bid. So here I am with phase 2. And then we leveraged that project, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so now we're talking about actually building a facility. So I just kind of backed into this, but I love it. I love the change. Well, how do I see cultural heritage tourism changing, post COVID? I think that COVID is going to be here to stay, some form of it. So I don't know that it'll ever be over, and it's going to force us to pivot in ways that we haven't. We've got to be way more creative about how we present our work. For instance, we did trolley tours. We do trolley tours, 39 guests on a trolley, and we're kind of tight. But with COVID, we've had to do some things differently, like small group tours, 2-hour tours. Well, means less money, but here's an example of what happened to me. A philanthropist was on one of our small group tours, and he ended up contributing way more money than I would have ever made with the 39 passengers on that trolley bus. So we've got to pivot. We've got to be creative and think of different ways to present these stories. And, it's going to be great, just like it was in my case. I have a friend forever now, and he's asking his friends to give. That's great.